Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to a special podcast series created in honor of Black Maternal Health Week, hosted by the Shades of Motherhood Network. I'm Dr. Akisi McMillan, and this week exists to center the voices, leadership, and lived experiences of Black mothers while advancing community led solutions that promote healing, trust, and collaboration. Across the United States, Black mothers continue to face significant disparities in maternal health outcomes. Yet within our communities, we also hold powerful traditions of resilience, advocacy, and collective care. That's why this year's theme centers around the SOUL framework: speak, observe, understand, and lead. To speak means we create space for truth and lived experience. To observe means we listen to our bodies and to one another. To understand means we speak and seek knowledge rooted in science, culture, and community wisdom. And to lead means that we use that knowledge to transform maternal health for future generations. During this series, we're hosting expert interviews and talking about some of the most critical health conditions affecting Black mothers, including hypertension, sepsis, hemorrhaging, gestational diabetes, and maternal mental health. We'll discuss what these conditions are, the research behind them, how women can advocate for their health, and the role of community organizations like the Shades of Motherhood Network in supporting families. This conversation is about awareness, empowerment, and change. Because when Black mothers are supported, informed, and heard, families thrive, communities grow stronger, and generations are protected. And today I am so excited because our conversation is all about the importance of movement for overall health and well being with Kendra Chialastri. And just for those of you that don't know Kendra, I'd like to share a little bit about her background with you before we kick things off. Kendra is a budding holistic health and wellness coach. She is the mother of four cool teenagers. She loves all things related to natural health and wellness. She holds her personal trainer certification through ISSA and is currently completing her comprehensive Pilates certification. A mantra or way of life for her has been movement is medicine. She enjoys weightlifting, gratitude walks, roller skating, Pilates, coffee, gardening, herbal medicine, and so much more. So please help me welcome to the show, Kendra. So, Kendra, welcome.
Yes, thank you for having me. It's an honor. It's an honor and a
Oh,
pleasure.
I'm so excited to have you. And as I'm just going over your bio, I love all the things that you are involved in. You just seem to be an overall well-rounded person, especially with the roller skating. Talk to me about the roller skating, Kendra.
Okay, so as a kid, after church or after certain activities, my mom would take us roller skating to get all of our energy out. She had three girls, and she would take us roller skating. And then when we moved to a more suburban area, Um, and she wanted to keep us busy. She ended up buying us more skates and rollerblades. And so that just became a thing that I just remember about my childhood. So as I was wanting to connect more with my cool teenage children, I was like, what's something we could all do that's more outside, outdoors, and not on electronics? And that
Yes.
was just the thought that heck, I was like, oh, we should all get skates. So got us some skates and I am still a beginner at this phase of life, so I need some of that childhood to rub off to get back that skill skating level.
Oh, I remember loving to roller skate as a child. I have not roller skated in I don't know how long, but now that I'm talking to you, that might be on my to-do list to kind of get my feet a little wet back into roller skating because it ties, so much into what you do. And even with your mantra, like movement is medicine, and how you're getting your teens involved, and you guys are doing this together as a family to stay healthy.
Yes.
Hmm.
Um, yes.
Yeah. And so what motivated you, Kendra, to really become a personal trainer and just to really get into health and wellness and fitness?
Yes. A number of factors. I was going through some major life changes. And then I experienced the death of a few loved ones. And as I reflected on their positive and significant impact on my life, um, and I was getting more into movement to kind of counterbalance the weight of transitioning through major life events. And I saw that those, like my dad and a good friend when I was living in Phoenix, they were all about the things I am, natural, holistic way of living. They loved being in nature. They had some complex medical conditions that had come up, and unfortunately, they passed. And so part of my healing journey or grief, healing from that grief and everything, was to take care of myself because I noticed that they hadn't. And like my grandmother, she was a nurse, and her passing really took a toll on me as well.
Mm,
And I just vowed to myself, kind of in the heat of those life changes that I was going through, I was like, I have to, I need to take care of myself.
mm,
Um, because my grandmother, my father, and my good friend, they were
mm,
all pillars in their community. And
mm,
um, it was just that theme of they're taking care of everyone, but
mm,
they're not taking care, they didn't, to the best of their ability
mhm,
or with the complexity of their condition. And so it's just like, you
mhm,
know, I want to be a pillar. I'm inspired by them to be a pillar in my community. And I want to be a great pillar by making sure to take care of myself as best I can.
mhm. And so I love the fact that even through that pain and the grief that you were going through, that you found movement to be very therapeutic for you in the sense, because there are so many studies that show that when we are engaged in whether it's exercise, movement, doing those things to stay on top of our mental health, that it really is beneficial to our overall well-being.
Yes.
Mm,
Yep. And
mhm,
I've probably come across some of those studies because as I did get more into weightlifting, yep,
mhm,
the grief, I didn't realize, how certain emotions can present themselves that you're not fully always aware of. It's one emotion when it's really another. And so I didn't realize I was experiencing depression from
mhm.
those losses.
Yeah.
And I made the correlation once I did get moving and more into the gym. I thought, oh my gosh, I feel like, I'm not feeling as heavy. And the more I started becoming aware and paying attention
Hmm.
to how I felt,
Yeah.
it was like a motivation. That weight and that heaviness, especially with moving, which was another major life transition, to a space where I don't have a lot of support. It was major or pivotal that I find, that I was doing something
Hmm.
to remedy the effects of transitions and moving and lack of support, going from a lot of support to very
Hmm.
little. So yes, I found that movement helped to keep depression at bay.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And for you, you really have embraced that because movement has been medicine, in your life. And so, as you have really embraced this as a lifestyle, incorporating this with your children, can you just share like the importance of why movement is necessary, even through pregnancy? Because I remember when I was pregnant with my son, one of my doctors would always tell me, you got to stay moving, you got to stay active, through your pregnancy, whether that's through walking, you got to do something. By the end of my pregnancy, I was so tired from carrying another person. but still getting a little bit of movement as much as I could in. But can you share like the importance of why movement is so significant to moms as they are transitioning through this very significant time in their life?
Yes, sure. Yes. And as a mom myself, I didn't know all the things I've learned now now that my kids are older, but
Yeah.
um, yes, so the importance with movement and motherhood as you're carrying that extra life with it's such a beautiful experience, right? Motherhood, but then it's also can be daunting on our bodies,
Mm,
which can be daunting on the mind. And so it's all interconnected. Your mental, emotional state, your physical state, and so there's just that correlation there again with the movement that's going to improve your emotional health, which is going to you know, better your mental health
mhm.
because a lot of the times our behaviors are drivers of our thoughts and what we're feeling. And
Yeah.
so, with motherhood, of course, you have um, influxes of emotional highs and lows. And so, how do you deal with that? And movement is a great remedy for that because with motherhood, or I know it's mostly it's talked a lot as far as postpartum
Mhm.
mothers experiencing like postpartum depression or things of that nature. But it also starts ahead of time because the more sedentary you are, that just
Mhm.
that kind of 10x's things. And it's the opposite. The more you're moving, the
Yeah.
more you're getting more of that blood flow that you need
Mhm.
um, for your reproductive system
Mhm.
there. And then it's
Mhm.
just really good on your mental and emotional, especially walking. I didn't know quite about weightlifting. I wish I knew about weightlifting when I was pregnant, but I
Yeah.
did. I did do a lot of walking since my doctor also recommended that, and um, they didn't give me all the super scientific terms and explanation, but
Right.
I have stood behind what I was told, which is, hey, it makes labor um, what's within your control anyway of labor. It makes it more doable,
Yeah.
safer, and more manageable. So
Mhm.
there are so many
Mhm.
good payoffs or positivities to moving in motherhood, especially that mental and emotional aspect with our fluctuating
Mhm.
hormones.
Yeah, I can certainly relate to that because I think that if I had not walked as much as I did, that my pregnancy probably would have been a little more difficult because I was just in a healthier state. And it did help my mental well-being too with the walking, getting out in the fresh air, which really did help with the pregnancy. So as we are, having the conversation about movement and motherhood, the theme for this year's conference is wrapped around the soul framework, which is speak, observe, understand, and lead. And so, from your perspective and the work that you do with movement, what message would you like to share with women who may feel unheard or even supported?
Yes. Um, I've experienced both not feeling supported and just under resourced and not being heard, which to me is part of being under resourced.
Mhm.
Um, with soul, although I have my experiences, I believe as a leader to listen to those around you so that they are heard and you affirm them
Mhm.
and reflect back those things because that's letting them know you are hearing me and it's and that their voice matters. And then as a leader I can go forth with that voice
Mhm.
where I'm speaking for those that I care that I'm carrying and leading, and just speaking up.
Mhm.
um they're just I'm a believer, and so there's that. one verse that sticks out to me when I think of speak and lead, observe and understand,
Yeah.
um, is to speak up for those who cannot speak up for themselves. And
Mm,
so for those who are not heard, they may be speaking up, but in a sense, they're not, they're
mhm,
largely underheard. And so,
mhm.
um, yep, I just think that's part of the foundation of being a leader, listening well,
Yes.
speaking up for those who are underrepresented, and
Mhm,
uh, and showing your care, that you genuinely care by observing, and
mhm.
observing not to judge, not to project, but to understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things that you said that stands out to me so much is when you said that we have to learn how to listen well. Because, people can hear, they can listen, but learning how to listen well is a developed skill to where you're really honing in and listening to the heart of the person with empathy. You are open to really receiving and understanding and seeking to understand what it is that they're saying as you are actively listening. Because many times people often want to get their point across versus really listening to what you have to say. And so it does take a lot of skill, even from a leadership perspective, to learn how to listen well to really meet the needs of those who feel unsupported or underserved.
Yes.
Hmm. And so when it comes to the work that you do, what parts of your work do you enjoy the most, Kendra?
It's so hard, all of it. But if I could narrow it down, it would be, connecting with people.
Mm,
Um, it's so crazy because you don't always recognize your strengths or talents all the time.
yeah.
And what I can say that I'm proud of myself in the gift is connecting with people, but where they feel valued and heard.
Mm.
Um, and so that just, it's like gold to me. It's like having gold. Um, because I know what it's like to, in part of my healing journey is going through experiences that were very traumatic, that where I wasn't heard, where I
Mm,
was dismissed,
mm,
and then where I was under resourced. And so,
yeah.
um, being to other people what I didn't have, that's gold to me. And that means I'm doing my job well when they feel, heard and
Mm,
seen.
mhm,
Um, and I think the other aspect, if I sum it up in the other aspect, it is, the movement aspect. The joy I get when people were either in pain and didn't want to move, or they didn't think they could lift a certain weight or do a certain movement or exercise, and
mhm.
working with them to get through what they thought they couldn't. It's,
Yeah.
yeah, it's up there. I homeschooled my kids for about a decade, and
Wow.
I guess it's that teacher and leader aspect of me when you see someone connecting the dots, and I'm just like, that just,
Yeah.
yeah, it's gold for me.
Oh, yeah. That's, your role as a personal trainer and really motivating and coaching others to do those things that they never thought they could do and, pushing them to do, whether it's that one more rep or one more um, move to really show them that it is possible.
Yes.
Hmm. And so, with the current state of, maternal health in our communities, what are some of the things that you think that we need to observe or pay more closer attention to? I know that you shared your thoughts on being able to listen well, but what are some of those gaps that you see that really need to be filled, whether that's, movement in maternal health, or what are some of the things that you see, Kendra?
Um, Within maternal health, a reoccurring thing that I see and even experience, it is within listening, but the pain levels that especially a Black mom, our pain is often dismissed. And um, so maybe advocacy. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
thankful to be a part and partner with companies like or nonprofits like Shades of Motherhood Network because
Mm-hmm.
they hear and they are the voice, and I love that. Um, and then I would say yes, the movement. I I don't see too much um, exposure, especially for Black moms with movement.
Mm-hmm.
We deal with a lot, and movement would help break up a lot of um, the just the abundance of emotions and heaviness that you can feel as
Mm-hmm.
a Black mom. And so movement is so important, and um, it's a preventative medicine. You know, it's so many things, and I think that it's not talked about enough to get
Mm-hmm.
mothers, Black mothers moving.
Yeah. And so, what would you envision? What would that look like for you if you were to get a group of Black mothers together and to really have that conversation around movement? What would that look like for you, Kendra?
Um, it would look like, yep, just educating them. And I'm a person that's hands-on, so more than just a lecture where we get moving with what's safe and appropriate for them at their level of pregnancy that they may be in.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then, yeah, being that support and educator and that representation that I believe we can be lacking at times, just depending on, again, exposure and where you may live and things of that nature. So it'll look like where I would advocate for those women, but demonstrate and be a part of their lives to kind
Mm-hmm.
of
Mm-hmm.
be that extra support. I think that we don't get enough of.
Yeah, and that's so good to be able to create spaces like that or to, again, really start the conversations as you share because we really don't see too much of that. I don't think I've ever really seen any of that in community. And so the work that you do, certainly being a catalyst to spark that conversation is vital.
Yeah.
And so when it comes to, the conversations as we're talking about regarding maternal health, what is it that really inspired you to really become a partner or work with the Shades of Motherhood Network?
Yes. I loved their calls and what they were doing. And that word you used, that gap, I was seeing some of the things that were being offered, and I thought, wow, I don't see movement in there. I do believe they have some Zumba, so there is some,
Mhm.
um, but I just thought to come from a slightly different angle with either the weightlifting in mind, or I also with the Pilates. And so making that accessible and wanting to partner with them to just bring those services where they see another Black woman who's a mom who can resonate and relate to them.
Mhm.
Um, like you said, just create that safe space. And so I just wanted to be a part of a movement that was already, that kind of shared the same values as me. And so,
Mhm.
yes,
No, that's wonderful. And I think it's partnerships are essential in our communities because so many times doing things alone are hard. But when we can find a community and create that partnership to support our community in a greater way, it is a win-win for everyone that is involved. And
yes,
so something that you shared, about the Pilates, and I just want to kind of hang our hat there for a
yes,
moment. So you're working on your certification, your comprehensive Pilates certification right now. And so many women hear about Pilates, but can you kind of get a little more into what it actually is and how it can benefit mothers, women in general, with their health?
Yes. So Pilates is, to me, if you are familiar, or it's more in line with like physical therapy. So it's going to be rehabilitative
Hmm.
in nature. And I love it because Joseph Pilates, the founder of Pilates, he had a lot of health conditions ongoing, but he didn't want that to kind of stop or get in his way. And so um, he founded, it's called Contrology, which are 34 original movements that you can do right on a mat. You don't need any special equipment. You just your body weight and the mat. And he just believed movement was preventative medicine as well. And so I believe that would benefit on the maternal side with just accessibility with your body is changing a lot. And so even from trimester to trimester, you're just like that first trimester may look or feel different for you in the second or third trimester.
Hmm.
And with Pilates, it's just good movement because its emphasis is on alignment, making sure alignment and form is very key.
Mm.
Um, with emphasis on the back, your core, and like your pelvic area as well, or pelvis. And so, to me,
Mm.
those are the key things with carrying life. Your pelvis, your pelvic floor is important.
Yeah.
Um, Alignment with your body, um, and then it being more rehabilitative because again, as those changes are coming, it's not like you need to do a whole bunch of different things. You just may have to modify some of those movements, of course, but it's rehabilitative in
Hmm.
nature. And I love that it's more where you become aware with what's happening in your body. So it's not a rushed or traditional workout kind of thing. It's, hey, slow down, be
Mm.
present in your body. So you're knowing what should be moving and what shouldn't. And I love that, especially for maternity, because again, your body is doing a lot of things, but to be in touch and in tune with your body, I believe also leads way to advocacy with being sure, hey, I know I feel this,
Mm.
in my body. So yeah.
Mm. I love that because I've never heard anybody really talk about it. It's more of like a mindful form of movement as medicine where you are aware, you are more present with your body as you're, completing the movements, and it's more rehabilitative, which is something that we all need, as well as helping us to slow down in our all too busy world.
Agreed. Yes.
Well, Kendra, if there was one thing that you could leave with those who are listening today regarding movement, what would that be?
Definitely. My mantra. I have a couple, but movement is definitely medicine. And with that, you get out of your head and into your body. A lot of times, like you said, things are going so fast paced that we are disconnected. And a part of movement is your breath and awareness. And so that's where that medicine, because again, you're kind of knowing what you may need as opposed to being disconnected and not knowing exactly. So awareness. So
Mhm.
I would leave with my mantra: medicine or movement is medicine. There we go.
And I love that. And that is good medicine that we can all take.
Yes.
And so, for those that are listening, Kendra, that might want to connect with you, work with you as their personal trainer, or getting more medicine into their lifestyle, where can they find you? How can they get in touch with you, Kendra?
Yes. So my main mode of tracking me down, at Muscle and Modesty on Instagram. Um, Yes, where they can work with me right now. And I'm not accepting clients just so that I can finish out my program or my, so I can pass my test out here soon in the, probably by the summer. So I may be back up and running towards the end of summer, but they can find me at Muscle and Modesty on Instagram.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, it has been a delight, Kendra, interviewing you on today. And I hear your passion about movement being medicine in all of our lives. And again, this is something that we can all utilize and take away with. And so, again, it's been a pleasure hosting you today.
Yes, it was a pleasure being hosted by you, Rakesia.
Will you enjoy the rest of your day now?
You too. Thank you.